Welcome back to the Badass Reset Club. Today we are navigating something that's timely. In the time of this recording, it is spring break time. So there's so many of us that are getting ready to travel and get out there and get after it. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you might not be able to tell that I just got back from traveling. I was in Mexico for a week and I really rocked my sunscreen. So if you're not watching on video, just know that I did a great job with my SPF, especially on my face. So I've been dealing with a lot of precancerous stuff on my face, and I went incognito, hats, lots of sunscreen. Other than that, what a great week. Such a great time to get in the sun and feel refreshed and rejuvenated and get all that vitamin D. But I want to share some tips so that when you're navigating your vacation, you are doing so without compromising your wellness. Now, I am not here to say that you should be on the same regimen as you are at home, but what I do want to say is it's quite possible to travel and come back and not have to hit that reset. So here's what I want to share with you today. I'm going to teach you some things about how to approach your exercise, your nutrition, your sleep, and your stress. And then a few little tips for my midlife ladies, because yes, we are definitely needing a little bit more when it comes to midlife, paying a little bit more attention. So first and foremost, I spent the week last week on a teaching vacation. So it wasn't entirely a vacation for me. It was for my husband, I can tell you that. But for me, I was teaching in Tulum, Mexico with a company called Fit Bodies. And I've been with Fit Bodies for a little over 10 years. We don't go every year, but we've gone often. And this was our first time going to Tulum. So let me explain. When you are working with a company like Fit Bodies, you're traveling to really beautiful places. They have contracts with the hotels where they bring in a fitness professional for the week. And then you are there to serve them in what they want. So sometimes I've taught spin classes, sometimes it's been boot camp. Definitely yoga is a popular. Last week was all about the yoga, 2 yoga classes a day. And I'll tell you that my mornings were pretty full. So I just want to share my story with you so you get a lay of the land for how I navigated it. I needed to set my alarm for 6 or 6:15 in the morning, which is tough when you're first landing somewhere and there's a time difference. Absolutely challenging. However, I would set my alarm and get up and go get coffee. I am a coffee drinker through and through. So I would go down to the lobby and get some coffee. And then I would come back, just enjoy my coffee before the gym opened at 7. And I'd be there with bells on, ready to go to get my workout in at 7 a.m. And yes, I researched ahead. What time does the gym open? What does the gym have? So that I could plan what I was going to do that week. Now, I was only able to get about 35 minutes of work in before I needed to come back, peel off my clothes again, and change for yoga. And then I would go teach yoga at 8 a.m. I taught from 8 to 8:45, would put all the things away, clean up, go get breakfast, and then needed to be on the 10 a.m. shuttle with my husband to head to the beach. The beach was about 25, 30 minutes away, and we took a really funky bus, an open air bus, to the beach through the pines, or not the pines, the palms smacking against the bus. It was just a jungle ride to the beach. It was an experience. And I often referenced it to the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. That's what it felt like. Like, keep your hands in the bus at all times. So then I would teach from 11 a.m. to 11:45 on the beach, and then it would be time to chill. So it was noon when I finally got to chill. So I don't call it a full vacation, but I knew this going in. You're still working. My favorite part of the whole thing is the connection with people from around the world. I had people in my classes from Canada, from England, from Germany, from Mexico. I would say Canada was probably the most that I met in the week, followed by England. So super cool. And you would get people who had never practiced yoga before, and you would get people who are very experienced. So I just like to poll my audience in the morning, my crew. What did they want? How did they sleep? How much did they drink the night before? We were in an all-inclusive, beautiful resort. So there was a lot of fun to be had. And then I would give them what they wanted. And that is something that just comes with experience of knowing how to tailor to multiple levels at the same time. And I loved it. Okay, so let's talk about the approach of how we're going to approach things, because you might not always be on a retreat like experience. You might not always be in an all-inclusive hotel. Things are going to look different as you travel, but depending on where you go, these are the things that we think about so that we can feel empowered while we travel and maintain that wellness routine. So first and foremost is your exercise approach. And with this, we're just going to pre-plan some simple equipment-free workouts. And you might think about a 10 to 20 minute body weight routine that can be done in your hotel room, that can be done with squats, lunges, push-ups against the wall or the dresser. You can do dips on the chair for your triceps. You can get really creative in what you can do in a small space with limited to no equipment. This is something that you can take on an index card, so it's just readily available. You can put it in the notes of your phone. If you are a client of mine, you've got an app that you're using and you've got everything in that app that you need. So there are so many ways to work through this. The second piece of our exercise approach is walking as a foundation. So we want to aim to explore our destination by foot as much as possible. And that way we're creating a natural blend of sightseeing and movement. I mean, it's a win-win. Most of the women that I know look at their step counts. They've got a goal that they like to hit. They have kind of their baseline where they feel good. And usually we exceed that when we're on vacation because we're getting after it. The next piece of advice is pack a resistance band. They're so portable, lightweight, and it is one of the best tools to offer versatility into your strength training routine. So you can do so many things with the resistance band. Whether you've got a long band that's got handles on the sides and you could step on it and you could do some squats to thrusting that band up overhead. You can attach it onto something secure. You can pull, do mini row pulls. You can work your triceps, your biceps. If you've got a band that just goes around your ankles or your knees, use that for your booty squats, then put it around your wrists and do arm raises, work your shoulders. There's so many things you can do. Then look up the hotel amenities. So many accommodations now offer fitness centers or a pool access. You've just got to know before you go. So know this ahead so you can plan. And then the last piece of this exercise advice is the morning movement ritual. So I love to take 5 minutes just getting up, of working through stretching, working through a little bit of mobility, range of motion, some deep breaths, reaching up overhead, opening up my chest by cactusing out my arms as I exhale. Movement in the morning and having that ritual feels really good. And it also sets the tone for, yes, I'm ready to get up. I'm ready to start my day. Okay, let's move on to nutrition strategies. When you're traveling, this can be something that starts in the mindset. So if you are traveling in a country where you don't really know what the food's going to be like, or you haven't really looked into where you're going and you're not sure what's available, we can quickly get into the mindset of, oh gosh, this is going to be hard. This is going to be challenging. I want you to get out of that mindset. And I want you to start thinking in a way of, this is going to be really fun to figure out how to get my protein and how I'm going to get my fiber and my veggies. And I can't wait to try seasonal fruits where I'm traveling. Get excited about where you're going and the opportunities to try things. And then if you are someone who's practicing the 80-20 approach, eating mostly good whole foods and having those fun foods as well, enjoy the local cuisine. Like, go guilt-free for that 20%. Really enjoy the experience, because you've got to understand you're still maintaining that balance at 80%. So it's a win. Breakfast planning. This is one of the important ones, I think, because we want to start our day off on a strong foot with some good protein and fiber. So consider booking accommodations that have a kitchen or kitchen access so that you can start your meals and your planning off on the right foot. If you're starting your day getting that nutrition that you need, you're going to feel even, you're going to feel well energized. You're going to feel like you're not having crashes throughout the day. It's really important, just like it is at home, that you're getting the protein and the fiber in the morning. Hydration habits are important as well. Carry a reusable bottle with you and then establish where is that refill? Where can you set this routine of where you can refill throughout the day? If you are traipsing around a city or other countries and you're not sure where the water is going to be, maybe you're going to safeguard this, and in your bag or your backpack, you're going to have two full water bottles. So you know you've got at least some good hydration. Snack preparation. I am a snacky person. I get hungry, and when I get hungry, I want something. So I am packing those snacks. You better believe it. But I pack portable, nutritious options. Like I will take my meat sticks, I'll have nuts, I'll have seeds, I'll have some fruit with me. It is something for those little hunger emergencies that pop up, and you just never know. You never know. So if you're not sure where your next meal is coming from, what time, make sure that you've got some good, healthy options to keep you from getting mean. And then the last piece of the nutrition strategies, your restaurant reconnaissance. You want to look at menus in advance if you can, so that you've got time to identify balanced options that sound both appealing, satisfying, and like they're going to be good choices for you. We did this on my last vacation. We looked at the restaurants that were available in the all-inclusive, and I already knew off the bat that there were some that just weren't going to work for me, only because I follow some restrictions. I'm gluten-free. And I knew that it was going to be a real challenge to find something that was gluten-free at this particular place. So we just didn't go. I looked at all of my options and I knew exactly what I wanted to try, and I got excited about it. So remember that piece. You want to be looking forward to the opportunities in a new place. Let's move on to sleep. When it comes to sleep, even when you're on vacation, you want sleep protection. So we're thinking in advance about consistent wake times. That way we can maintain regular morning times to rise, even when the time zones shift. So starting to get established on your new time zone and set that time. The first day might be a little bit hard, but set the same time to get up every day. Again, that was me last week with a 6 a.m. wake up. Some days the alarm clock was jarring, and some days I was already there because my body knew it was time to get up. There are sleep kit essentials that you should pack with you, like earplugs or an eye mask, or even a small white noise machine. If you don't have a machine like I do, I have a very small portable one. Use an app on your phone. It'll give you a really good noise to drown things out. Okay, so for those of you who know me, you know damn well I travel with my sleep machine. However, this past week, I've got to share with you, we were getting up at 1:45 a.m. to come home. Our shuttle was picking us up at 2:30 a.m. Ugh. And we were going to get to bed at a good time. We were going to go to bed at 8:30. And as we were walking back up to our room a little after 8, we saw the band setting up right outside our room, over the pool, right off our balcony, a band. Well, that band, you could feel the drum beat in our bed. It was crazy. We had earplugs, we had the white noise machine. Nothing could drown that out, but it was good to have them. And yes, we were quite tired at 1:45. Having a wind down ritual is helpful as well. Developing a 15-minute pre-sleep routine is going to signal to your body that it's bedtime, regardless of where you are. Just like at your home, just like I coach with my clients, like have that routine set up so that your body automatically knows it's time for that melatonin to kick in. It's time for me to shut down. It's time for me to go to sleep. Sunlight exposure, so important to get that morning light exposure to help regulate your circadian rhythms when you're traveling across the time zones. Like we want to do that anyway, but when you're traveling across time zones, it's even more crucial that you get on it. And then the last piece of this is avoiding that afternoon caffeine. I mean, that should be a no-brainer, but sometimes you find yourself having something really delicious. I know that I had a espresso martini one afternoon and it kept me up. So consider stopping the caffeine earlier when you're traveling. So like by 12, 1 p.m. at the latest, I would cut it off. The last piece of this, stress management. Yes, we get stressed when we're traveling. Even if you're on vacation, travel can be stressful. So, intention setting. Begin each vacation day with that brief moment of identifying what matters most in that day. You don't have to tell anybody, you don't have to write it down. Just internalize that. What matters most about this day? And then have flexible scheduling. So build in buffer times between your activities so that you're avoiding that rushing and the stress that comes from rushing, especially if the travel involves trains, planes, things that you have to be on at a certain time. Set a buffer. Have digital boundaries, establishing specific times to check work email rather than constant monitoring. That is such a headspace right there. If you can set a time in advance of I will be on my phone between this time and this time each day to check and make sure that I'm not missing something important. Otherwise, let it go. Mindfulness moments. Use the travel transitions, like when you're waiting in line, when you've got an airport delay, as opportunities for those brief breathing exercises. So taking those deep diaphragmatic breaths in through the nose, all the way down into deep belly, and then open your mouth and let it go slowly. I mean, even when we're not traveling, we should be doing that when necessary or when we're waiting in line instead of scrolling on our phones. The last piece of this is permission to rest. Normalize taking actual downtime rather than packing every moment with activity. I am the first one to say I struggle with that. I like every single minute of the day filled to the max, but this past week, I really practiced this one. I normalized having a little downtime in the afternoon where I wasn't checking things, where I wasn't checking on my family at home or my dog to make sure she had water. I was just resting with my book at the pool, at the beach, letting things go. And it is so helpful for us midlife women to give ourselves permission to rest. We do not always have to be saving the world. And then there are a few considerations for midlife women when you're traveling, like the hormone fluctuation planning. Think about packing appropriate supplements and medications, and then consider timing activities around your energy peaks. So if you're someone who's taking HRT, make sure, and this is a hot tip, make sure if you're on the estrogen patch that you have an extra patch with you, because if you're at the beach or you're somewhere where you're sweating a lot and that patch loosens or won't stay on your skin, you need to have backup. So pack appropriately and give yourself just a little bit extra of a buffer. Think about temperature regulation. You want to layer your clothing and pack moisture wicking fabrics so you can manage those hot flashes that happen while you're traveling. Digestive consistency is important as well. When we change foods, when we're traveling and maybe we're tired and we're just not feeling the same and we're not in the same routines, we may have some digestive issues. Yes, that's happened to me many a time. So maybe you're going to consider taking with you a probiotic for your gut health. And the last piece of it is joint protection. Think about your joints, especially if you're out there all day long on your feet. Choose the comfortable footwear. I know we like to have our fancy shoes. I know we like to rock the shoe that looks really good with the outfit. But it's very popular right now to wear a dress with, some Adidas sneakers. So wear comfortable footwear and consider bringing those compression socks for long flights. That is going to be a saving grace as well. So we want to think about this. We want to think that, traveling is not about the perfect vacation. It's about enjoying the experience that we set each intention in the day for. It is about taking in new foods. It's about connections with new people. And we need to, at some point, let go of, I have to stay on the perfect diet. It's not black and white, not at all. Having some sort of sustainable balance is completely easy to do when you've got a plan. It doesn't have to be black and white. It can be 80-20. It can be a little bit of rainbows mixed in there. But we want to think about having enjoyment with our wellness. So give yourself a little permission to enjoy and have some fun, have a good game plan. And this way, you're going to come back feeling refreshed rather than depleted. You won't have to hit the reset right when you get home. Just focus on prioritizing your sleep, your hydration, your movement, and eating mostly good foods. It's not about being rigid, it's about being you. Thanks for listening to the Badass Reset Club. We will see you next time.